Hey, welcome back everyone. My name is Jas and welcome to Vardeez. And today we are talking about how can you complete your FRM syllabus quickly. Now, this video is not meant for someone who has already completed the syllabus. If you have done that, you should move to the revision, retention of the material and the mock exams. This video is meant for someone who has not completed. Maybe one book is pending for the exam, two books are pending for the exam, and you want to complete the syllabus quickly, so that if you still have some certain syllabus or some chapters that are still pending, this video will certainly help you out. Now, before I go ahead, I just want to mention that when you try to complete the curriculum, do not go in a very hush or a rushful manner. That's not going to be helpful. Remember, GAR does not test you whether you've completed the syllabus or not. They test you on the conceptual clarity. So while you try to complete the syllabus, make sure that you understand the material as well and have conceptual clarity. That's going to be really helpful. So let's begin. Now, very first thing that I have it here is that of theory versus the practical topics. Now, what do I mean by that is that all the theory topics, let's say stress testing, CCP, mortgage-backed security, country risk, and probably the foundations, which is the book number 1, right? These are purely theory in nature. So rather than you investing your time on watching a video for this, okay, or maybe spending too much time on this, it's really important that you focus on these things by reading the material so that you get the time that can be utilized for practical topics. Let's say fixed income, binomial, the BSM model, the binomial model, so on and so forth. Now, this will require you to have a greater conceptual clarity, right? Probably you may have to refer video lectures to get the understanding for that. So this is how you can segregate a time between theory versus the practical topics. Spend a little bit lesser time on watching videos for the theory material, read it by yourself, retention will be much better, you save time, and that's the need of the hour at this point in time. So that's the first thing. Secondly, what you could do is that you can consider the crash course. If you're doing part 1, part 2, we have the crash course on our website. You can actually consider that. That will help you to complete the syllabus very quickly. Just to give you a little context, our crash course has about 30 to 35 hours of video lectures. Now, even if you spend, let's say, 3 hours per day, in the next 10 days, you can still go ahead and you can complete the curriculum. You will have an overview about the curriculum, and then you just need to practice the mock exams. So to complete the syllabus faster, you can definitely consider the crash course. Check it out on our website. Now, there's also one more thing that you could do is that you can actually consider skipping the difficult topics. Yes, ideally, I never suggest to skip certain topics or maybe certain chapters, right? I never suggest that. But looking at the situation here, I can say that maybe 1 or 2 chapters is something that you can afford to skip, especially when you have the exam just around 30 days left for the exam. So at this situation only, I'm saying this thing, okay? So just to give you a little example, so on the exam, there's going to be 100 questions for part 1, and you have to get 70% right to pass the exam, right? So if you look at it, we have 30 questions as the room for error. So maybe if you skip, let's say, a very difficult chapter, here I will say if you can skip, let's say, modeling non-parallel term structure, which many candidates find it to be very technical, very difficult when they study that. And how many questions will you get on the exam? Maybe 2, maybe 3. So that is something that you can still afford to, take a guess. And the beauty about the FRM exam is that there's no negative marking. So you can still mark it. You can still take a calculative guess and probably mark the right answer. You never know, right? So this is only something that I will suggest that you can, if you're really out of time, consider skipping the most difficult chapter. Another example is probably the option Greeks. Very technical. So if you try to do these chapters now, it will take you a lot of time, and time is something that we need to save at this point in time. So this is something that you can actually consider. Maybe you can skip it out on the exam, take a calculative guess. There's no negative marking, so that's a good thing about the FRM exam as well. If you do not want to skip it, my next suggestion will be to go ahead and have at least 90% idea of the topic. Okay, this is a good thing actually, so that you can take a calculative guess on the exam. So have 90% idea about the topic, know what is key rate duration, what are the basics, that will help you to at least take a calculative guess. Finally, whatever that you do when you try to complete the syllabus, it's really important that you focus on the accuracy. Remember, even if you are able to complete 80% of the curriculum, it's okay, but at least make sure that your accuracy is at a very high level, right? I'm reiterating again. GARP does not test you that you've completed the entire thing. It will test you what you know. So if you're accurate on what you know, I think you'll make it. So improve the accuracy. Next point is complete new readings, whatever syllabus that is still pending, plus revise the old topics as well. Because what happens is that as we go across time, we tend to forget the topics, right? So it's really important that when you try to complete the new topics which are left, make sure that you revise the older topics as well. That's very crucial. And then finally, it's never too late. We still have almost 30 days for the exam. And remember, last month is very crucial. This is a time that can actually make or break your results. So make sure that you give your best. Take holidays if possible. Maybe on Friday you can take a holiday, and then you can just combine that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You get 3 days to focus on the FRM prep so that you can just complete it quicker. Okay, so take holidays if possible. So with that being said, guys, I'll wind up this video and I'll see you in the next video. If you have any comments, please post it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good day.